Hey, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Crossing Route Show. Yes, it's another edition, and I am Sunny Cadwallader, better known as Kajika in the world of the interwebs, and I am joined, as always, by the smart one of the two of us, by my co-host, Nick Polinich. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Good, yourself, Sonny?
I
A
am
little
doing
cold.
good. It's a bit cold up here in the Pacific Northwest, but might not be as cold as what you're experiencing today. What are you experiencing over there in Michigan town?
It is in the 30s, and we got our first kind of snow, at least in our area. I mean, it wasn't sticking, but it's still a little early for my taste. So,
That is like the worst of all the four-letter words, Nick. That is the worst four-letter word out there in known mankind. That is the worst four-letter word in my vocabulary. What do you think?
I agree, especially after the winter we had last year with the combination of the horrible cold and the snow. Um, I'm not excited about hearing anything snow cold related. So, yeah, it's not anything I'm enthusiastic about right now. So it's still
But
technically fall. It doesn't need to be
it
snowing.
is. It
So
is. Football's still going on. It is still fall. I think a friend of mine, she's over in North Idaho. She said there was snow over there. We had -1 wind chill the other day. And my son and I didn't even tell you this, Nick. I won some tickets to a concert. Oddly enough, it's called the Winter Jam Tour. Winter. Winter Jam Tour. But it's like general admission, and you have to stand outside the arena before they even open the doors, which is an hour before showtime. So we are going to be standing outside tomorrow night. I'm not watching football tomorrow night. We're going to be standing outside for probably almost 2 hours to get some decent seats for this concert. Do you feel bad for me yet?
I do, because I don't really, I can't imagine at this point in my life waiting outside for anything. So,
When you
let
have,
alone in
when,
the cold.
but you go to football games in the cold, Nick.
I know, and we're actually next week because we're going to probably the Toledo. We're gonna do a little action on Wednesday, so we're doing the Toledo Bowling Green game, the Battle of I-75, and that could
Ooh.
be probably in the 20s. So yes, I could be.
Blankets, blankets, and more blankets. And who
Yeah,
will be their starting quarter? Who will be Toledo's starting quarterback next week?
I don't know. It could be some kid from the intramurals if at this rate.
I know. Weren't they down to like their third string quarterback or something the other day?
They were down to the fourth. They went down to the fourth. They were fourth stringer. So they pulled the kid who was he played high school quarterback, but then he came in. He's been a wide receiver, Dwight Macon, and he actually played pretty well. And but yeah, they I don't know where they go from this point. So
Oh my goodness.
I think they have to burn a fresh. They have to burn a red shirt at this point if he would get hurt.
Well,
So
more power to you there, Nick, with that Maction. And there was another game that you went to the other day. You were telling me about your very first.
yeah, we broke out our. We have Cavs tickets this year, so we went to see the Cavs in New Orleans. So it was the Cavs' second home game this year. We did not go to the first, which was probably a blessing. And we left the arena. LeBron had a triple double, and then a few days later, he did not have a triple double. But
You
they,
you you brought him luck. You guys brought him luck.
yeah, it was very entertaining. I'll say they don't have the strongest defense, but it is very entertaining. It was like 118 to 111, so it was fun. So, so
How electric was that building?
oh my gosh, it's like watching a rock concert. It really is.
Speaking
And
of concerts.
yeah, speaking of it's very crazy. Just from it's electric is a good way to describe it. Just from the word go, it's hard to believe it's a November NBA game. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to see um, LeBron back, and yeah, it's just it's very electric. It should be fun season as those guys progress and see how they go.
Last week I was not out in the cold. I went to a game, like I said in our last show. I went to the Big Sky rivalry game between Eastern Washington and Montana, but I sat front and center, 50-yard line in the press box. So I was nice and
Nice.
toasty warm.
Yes, that's the best way to go if you can do that.
I think you're going to we were talking before the show, and I think you're the one that's going to be dealing with the smoker's cough today. Hey, Nick?
Yeah, I made the mistake of Actually, it's a can of pop that traveled with me from work, and it actually we were making the mistake of drinking some Coke Zero, and then I just happened to look at it, and it's actually got a World Cup logo on it because I thought it tasted a little funny, and yes, it's.
Ole, 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 ole.
So
Well,
I'm not gonna.
there are still friendlies going on, so soccer is still technically in season, so you're not too bad. But
Yeah, and Qatar gets to keep the World Cup. They weren't.
let's not. This is a football, gridiron football show, Nick. Let's go with that. There, lots of fun this past week. Last weekend, Ohio State. Let's start with Ohio State because I think that and Arizona State were the two biggest wins, in my opinion. Two most impressive wins. Definitely Ohio State and what they did over Michigan State. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, those were definitely the two games because I think the way Arizona State just jumped out on Notre Dame, and I mean, they let Notre Dame get back in it a little bit, but then Notre Dame got a little close, and then they just stretched it back out. Most points,
Right.
I think, what was that, since 1985, scored against Notre Dame.
Forcing their defense, forcing turnovers. I unfortunately was not able to. I was at the Eastern game, and I could not watch my team destroy Notre Dame. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Golson had 5 turnovers, so they looked very dominant and set themselves up for a really good situation. And then Ohio State, a lot of questions, how
Yeah.
they, they hadn't really been challenged all year, and they're going up to East Lansing with a young quarterback, and they at one point they had scored on 5 straight drives, touchdown. They scored 7 out of 8 drives, touchdown, and that was supposed to be one of the top defenses in the country, and
Yeah.
they scored at will. I mean, basically, a couple of the touchdowns came early, where they had special teams turnovers, and that was quite a performance. So I thought those two teams just moving in and just moving up. It's just those were definitely the most, to me. You're right. Were the biggest performances, the movers of the weekend. I thought.
Let me ask you this because the thought just popped into my head, and when something pops into my head, I have to do it or say it. We were joking throughout our show since we started our show about some of the cupcake games that Michigan State had. Some of them I called buys, even though it was a game on that weekend. It felt like a buy for them, and it turned out that it was in a way just because of how dominant they looked. Was that a detriment to them, do you think, going into Ohio State?
I kind of felt like it was. My kind of thought was I almost felt like it was like Ohio State's it was Urban Meyer's kind of coming out party for his.
Okay.
This is his team. He kind of decided, I'm going to bring speed to the Big Ten, and D'Antonio's defense is kind of.
Yes.
To me, it reminded me of a lot of what used to happen to Ohio State when they had the solid defenses that could play hard against the rest of the Big Ten, but then when they would match up against somebody fast, they would get run off the field. And I think, he's been recruiting, building his team. I think the defense is still somewhat a work in progress, but there was just no way Michigan State could match up. And the two fastest teams they played this year that had the two best offenses, they struggled. And I thought, with the other being Oregon, I think Michigan State, that's what they are. They're good. They have a good start. When they played in the Rose Bowl last year, they matched up against Stanford, who plays very similar style of football.
Yeah.
So I thought when they got, I thought Ohio State exposed them, and I think that's what Urban Meyer, that's been kind of his mantra coming into the Big Ten. I'm going to basically build an SEC team in the Big Ten, and I'm going to expose you. And I kind of thought this is finally the pieces were coming together, and we kind of saw what he could do. And one of the things he said at the end of the game, he said, "It's a young team. We feel really good about the future." And I think a lot could happen, obviously injuries and whatnot. But I thought that's a pretty good threat for the rest of the Big Ten because pulling in those top 5 classes, and if they're that speedy, they're going to start to have to make some adjustments. The rest of the league.
Now they're heading into before the season started, nobody would have thought that this would be a huge game for them. But they go from Michigan State to a Minnesota going up against a Minnesota team that is 7-2, 4-1 in the Big Ten. Where do you see this one headed? Because it's Speaking of cold, it's going to be cold in Minnesota.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw there were some photos online. They were taking dump trucks of snow off the field, and I think that a couple of, I mean, all year we've talked about the Michigan State Ohio State game, so they're going to have to adjust their mindset. And I think the other thing is Ohio State's played 3 straight 8 o'clock games. Well, now they're going. Not only are they playing a noon game,
Oh
this
yeah.
is actually an 11 o'clock game because they're playing in the Central Time. So there's going to be a little bit of body adjustment there. So it'll be interesting. I think they're 14.5 point favorites, but
Yep.
um, I think that there'll be definitely they'll want to come out and establish themselves. But yeah, Minnesota obviously has a lot to play for, and the fact that they're in a 3-way tie over there in the West with Wisconsin and Nebraska.
Hmm.
So,
Now, with some of those games from last weekend, including what I mean, we talked about Ohio State, we talked about Arizona State, but A&M upsetting number 3 Auburn 41-38. That changed the college playoff picture just a wee bit. We have Mississippi State at number 1. They played nobody last week. Oregon at number 2 jumped to number 2. They jumped Florida State. Even though they have the one loss to Arizona at home, they jumped Florida State up to number 2. Florida State, of course, is at number 3. They have a big game coming up this weekend. TCU, who, despite that one little blip with Baylor, they look strong. They look really, really strong there at number 4. And Alabama, Arizona State on the outside looking in. First, let me get your thoughts on Oregon jumping Florida State. I'm not surprised just because we have to think differently this year. We can't think of like things in years past, but let me get your thoughts on that.
yeah, I think for as much as people like beat up on the Big Ten, and so Florida State, the ACC is not that good, and I think Florida State's done a lot of sliding by, whereas the Pac-12's a much tougher conference, and Oregon has, they went in, they played Utah, which was,
Yeah,
they've had their offensive problems, but they're a
they
good
lost
team.
another one. They lost another offensive lineman during that game.
Yeah, and so and they had obviously beaten Michigan State earlier this year, so they had a big out of conference win. So I think it was just, it didn't surprise me, but yeah, I think it was definitely a reward for playing a stronger schedule. I think they definitely made a statement about the schedule and the fact that I think the other thing is you definitely have to, if you play a weak schedule, you better destroy your opponents. And I think that you see, I know this from watching a lot of the Ohio State games, I've never seen so many go for touchdowns late in games, go for the 50, go for the 60. And, in the past, people would say, well, that's kind of,
Well, it's
that.
interesting. It's interesting you bring up that point because I was chatting with some of the folks in the Google Plus college football community, and there was one guy saying TCU, when they were against Baylor, they were continuing to throw the ball. So, but and got them into trouble. That's what allowed Baylor to get back in the game. Um, what are your thoughts as far as a situation like TCU where although they were up by a gazillion, they still lost. They still allowed a team like that, like Baylor, to get back in the game, but yet they're at number 4.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the teams now, with these one losses, I mean, they kind of have a bad loss. Arizona State has a loss to UCLA.
Yes, that nobody will let me forget, but that's okay.
I know at Ohio State we get to hear about Virginia Tech until the cows come in.
At least your
So,
guys were tackling Virginia Tech. ASU defenders were just sticking an arm out. Oh, let me see if I can tackle him. Yes, he's whipping by me, but I think I can still get him. It's like trying to slide tackle a dude in soccer. Okay, never mind. I said we weren't going to talk about that kind of football.
But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, they definitely are. That they have Baylor slip. But I think what's hurting Baylor is their non-conference schedule was just is just they didn't go out and play them. And and all of a sudden TCU, who played Minnesota earlier this year,
Yep.
boom, that all of a sudden looks like, I mean, they beat
Nobody
Minnesota, I think,
thought. No. Yeah.
37. All of a sudden that looks really nice win. you know.
Nobody thought that would be a good win, but TCU those Horned Frog fans are just kissing Minnesota right now.
Yeah, they're like, hey, that's nice. We have a top 25 win against, Minnesota. So I think,
Yeah.
Baylor, they're out there beating up on Buffalo, and I think that is kind of, I think that definitely the committee's taking that into account, and I think that's where they're getting penalized.
And
So
and it sounds like fans, and maybe to some extent some media, are having a hard time adjusting to that way of thinking. It's, oh, this team is undefeated, they should be, ranked at the top or whatever. But when you look, I mean, I don't know what you use, but if you go by the Sagarin ratings for strength of schedule and stuff, Baylor's is at like a 55, Florida State's is at like a 51, Alabama's got the third toughest schedule. I believe Arizona State was at a 27. So I mean, you see the diverse ranges and diverse strength, but fans aren't quite ready to think that way yet. Even though you have to look at the strength of schedule, you have to look at versus the top 25 other teams in the top 25. They're looking at those things, and yet at the same time, fans have to realize that once we get to conference championship time, it's all going to change again, or it could very well change again. With all those, except for the Big 12, everybody else has their conference championship games.
yeah, and that's definitely, I mean, that's why, like, if like in Ohio State, you're rooting for Nebraska to win out, so maybe you can pick up another top 10 win in.
Mm-hmm.
Because then at the end of the year, if you beat, Minnesota on the road, and you beat Michigan State on the road, and then you go beat Nebraska on a neutral site, it might not be enough to help you get in, but at least, that's helped as much as it can. But yeah, I think definitely it reminds me a lot of like the NCAA basketball tournament when you start seeing RPI,
Mm-hmm.
wins versus top 25. I think that's kind of a lot more what's shaping the thinking. Like you were saying before, it's like it used to be. You'd look at the AP top 25, it'd be all the undefeateds, then all the
Mm-hmm.
one losses, and then all the two losses, and then
Yep.
it would just be pretty much that's the
Marshall
order.
wouldn't be as low as they are right now.
No, they would be. I mean, they would be. They would probably be like 12 or 15 or
Yeah.
something. Somewhere in there. They would kind of creep their way up. And just kind of, even though they haven't really played anybody, they would just find their way all of a sudden one time. It would be like kind of a few years ago when Brady Hoke was still coaching Ball State. Ball State hadn't really played anybody, but they found themselves all of a sudden like number 12 in the country. So,
Mm-hmm.
and they played like a similar type schedule as Marshall. So, but I mean, so that's kind of the situation. But this year, Marshall, I mean, the committee has not given them a break.
Exactly. And what's funny is I believe Missouri is in the driver's seat in like the SEC East. They're at 7-2 right now. What would happen if, say, Missouri, they win the SEC East, they beat whoever comes out of the SEC West, one of those dominant teams in the West, tough teams. Here they are, they're the winners of the SEC, 2 losses. Will they get the nod in the I mean, that's how the craziness that we could see come those final college football playoff rankings.
And speaking of horrible losses, they have a loss against Indiana.
But can you see the committee leaving
I'm
out
sure.
an SEC team?
Oh, I can't imagine. It would be very. It would be an amazing day. Like, not, this isn't me rooting against it, but it would be to go 4 teams without the SEC. I mean, I would feel like.
Or
Yeah.
say that would be Mississippi State's one loss would be in the SEC championship game. Can you see either them putting Missouri in because they are the champion, or putting a Mississippi State in over the champion? You know what I mean? I mean, it
Yeah,
just
that'd be a really tough call because either like if maybe if it's like one of these like triple overtime games, they may give Mississippi this state. But that'd be tough because I mean then you have the head-to-head, you have the champion of the
chaos.
SEC. Yeah,
Chaos.
that would
Let's
be.
cheer for chaos. We want more chaos.
Well, there and I was reading and there was another situation like where um, Florida beats Florida State, knocks them out. It was on one of the Ohio State boards somebody had put, and Florida helps Urban Meyer get into
Oh
the
my gosh.
playoff, and all the people in Florida just basically, you
Oh wow. No, we don't want that.
so there's a
We
lot.
do not want that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting, I mean, scenarios. Yeah, I'd be really curious to see because I mean, there's still like with the SEC. I mean, Mississippi State's got Alabama and Ole Miss, and depending, and then they've got both those on the road, and then they've got potentially depending on how all that pans out, then the SEC championship game. But you know, and then Alabama's got Mississippi State and Auburn.
I know. But
So,
we here on the Crossing Route show, we like chaos, don't we, Nick?
yeah, it makes it more fun. So yeah, I
Gives
mean,
us more to talk about, right?
yeah, I like it when it gets all why would you want it just to stay static? That would be no fun if we came back like a week later and this thing looked exactly the same.
And fans are pulling their hair out and all.
I
Yeah.
always like hopping on Twitter like the minute after they release them and everybody's like up in arms like that's the actual it's like there's still 4 more weeks. It's like people get, like we're robbed, It's like, it's like
There's
to me
bias.
it's like if your Alabama wins, it's like you're in. It's like if you take care of business, it's like if
Yep.
Alabama or Mississippi State, you're in. Why are you worried about that? You're 5 this week. If you win out, you're good. You're golden. So
Exactly.
but I mean,
If you control your own destiny, just shut up, let your team play, and enjoy it. Enjoy it, because there's not a whole lot of time left in college football season. Before
Yeah.
you know it, it'll be gone.
yeah. So it's just it kind of cracks me up when I start reading. Oh, how's Alabama behind TCU? It's like, well, just win and you'll be fine. So
There's not there. I mean, if you think about it, there really isn't that much college football left, Nick.
no, I
There's
mean,
less than 2 months.
no. When you think about it, I mean, because I kind of looked at the schedule of the remaining. I went down 8 teams, went to Ohio State. Of the teams that I felt like had still had a shot at the playoff, and nobody. I mean, excluding their conference championship game, everybody has between 2 and 3 regular season games left. I mean, which is kind of crazy. I mean, like even
It's
like
kind of
like
sad.
somebody like I know, isn't it? Like Oregon has Colorado and Oregon State left. That's it, and then they're done. I mean, I mean that's hard to believe. I mean,
You know what we
I
need to
mean,
do next week? Next week, I think we should rank the rivalry games, the like the Iron Bowl, Egg Bowl, whatever. Me, of course, I'll say Territorial Cup, but hey, Territorial Cup, Apple Cup, Civil War. I'll have my West Coast bias on. Well, we should do that for next week, Nick.
yeah, no, that'd be good. Well, then you have like all the Big Ten. They can't have a game without a trophy, some kind of a
Well,
token.
they've already given out trophies this year, haven't they?
They give out a trophy for basically every game.
What was it? What did they used to be called? Legends and
Oh,
Losers? Legends. What was the? There's a Legends
Legends
division,
and Leaders. That was the worst idea of all time. That was just awful.
and they had an awful trophy too, which I cannot describe here on the show. But
No,
there is
but
football being played tonight. There was
yes,
football on Tuesday. Was there football yesterday too, or no?
yes, it's the midweek action is like Ball State, UMass, and Kent State and Bowling Green were yesterday. Bowling Green actually clinched the MAC East, so they have a trip to Detroit for
Nice.
the MAC
Championship.
chip. Yep. So
All right.
they are. So
So
they
far-
they went last year. So last year, if you remember, they upset Northern Illinois.
Oh, that's right. With
Jordan Lynch. That was a
yes,
big
that's it.
upset.
There we go. So far, right now, halftime: Cincinnati 31, East Carolina 20. UTSA just They're early in the second quarter, 3-0 over Southern Miss, and a big Pac-12 game, USC and Cal, later on tonight. Of course, Pac-12. Remember that hashtag, kids. Pac-12 After Dark on Thursday night and Saturday night. You just never know what's going to happen.
Well, you saw craziness in that Utah Oregon game this week.
Oh my goodness.
Poor kid.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And when something like that happens, you know how you were talking about you check Twitter? I check Twitter mentions, and some of the vile and just disgusting stuff people were tweeting at the kid, and he came out all class and said and apologized and said it was on him. I thought that was really cool, but the fans were just bleh.
Yeah, that's. I saw today Deshaun Jackson reached out to him.
Oh, good.
So remember, Deshaun had his own moment when.
Yes, they're both from the same high school too, aren't they, or something?
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. That I mean, yeah, I never understand the people that decide to get real tough on Twitter at these guys. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get back to talking football because we do have some great games this weekend. We kind of mentioned one a little bit. What are the games you're looking forward to most, Nick?
Well, I mean, obviously, Ohio State, Minnesota, we kind of talked about that one. And then obviously Mississippi State, Alabama. And I think also there's big in the Big Ten West, Nebraska, Wisconsin. I think that
should be a fun one.
Yeah, and then it'll be interesting because Wisconsin hasn't played an offense that has ranked, I saw earlier today, above 86th in the country.
Oh, my goodness.
So Nebraska should give them a little bit better of a test. Plus, it'll be kind of an interesting little matchup of running backs. Amir Abdullah versus Melvin Gordon. So it'll be kind of a fun running back duel too. So I think that'll be an interesting.
This might also be even more of a separation Saturday in Heisman voters' minds, maybe. Could be.
Yeah, because if somebody like Dak Prescott has a bad game against Alabama,
yep.
That could pretty much wrap it up. I mean,
Mariota.
Yeah, I mean, he could, sitting at home, he's not going to throw any picks, and he's got.
No. Well, I mean, if he had to play this weekend, he might with that beat up everybody in his offensive line in the ER or something.
Yeah, and I think I had mentioned before the show, I said I thought Ohio State, I don't know how much it would help them, but I think they've been really cursed by just the free fall Virginia Tech has taken since that second game of the year, and Virginia Tech plays at number 21 Duke, and I think a win for the Hokies would really. It's not going to totally erase that horrible loss, but I think it would bring Virginia Tech to 5-5, and it would help a little bit. I mean, it's not going to
one win away from a bowl game.
Well,
that would help a little.
Yeah, it's just, but I don't know. And then the other one, not to go through everything, but both of us had actually talked about this one, is the non-forward pass bowl. The Georgia Southern at Navy game, the number 1 and 2 running attacks.
That is definitely my sleeper game. I mean, all of my picks or games of the week are similar to yours, but that's one of my sleeper games. And you saw them against Ohio State. Notre Dame dealt with it. You can't fully prepare for Navy, so that should be a good challenge for the Sun Belt later.
Yeah. Who even got a vote in the AP Bowl this week too? So
didn't they just move up from the FCS?
Yeah, they did. That former FCS power back in the. So.
Yes, and that's okay because Eastern Washington, Delaware, New Hampshire, all of those guys are probably pretty glad that Georgia Southern's gone. And speaking of the FCS, I just want to throw this out there. Good on you, Northern Iowa, upsetting the 3-time defending champion North Dakota State last weekend. That was a stunner.
They snapped that the winning streak. How many was it? Was it like 33 games or something?
At 3 years.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
I just put it in years. I quit counting games. It was just like years. But that was a huge. Although for the rest of FCS, I think that might make North Dakota State a little mad, and
Yeah.
see how it plays out the rest of the play once we get to the playoffs. But that was my Eastern Washington is off this week, so I don't have to really worry about that. No more FCS talk. I'm sorry. Had to get it in though. We didn't even talk about Utah. We hardly talked about Utah.
Yeah, we did. We didn't. Well, we did. We talked about the Well,
We talked about the play, but I don't think that's enough for your Utah peeps there, Nick. You've got a fan club, I think.
Well, okay. Well, if you want to check them out this week, they're at Stanford and they're on the Pac-12 network.
Let's spare Utah. You don't want to watch that game against Stanford.
Yeah, that might set offensive football back. So yeah, that's not gonna. That'll probably be about a 20. That scoreboards will not explode. So.
No, definitely not. My other sleeper game, and I actually had no explanation for this when I wrote it down. This might even be worse than Georgia Southern Notre Dame. I mean, not Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame on the brain. Worse than Georgia Southern Navy in terms of scoring. LSU Arkansas. LSU coming off that. I don't want to say heartbreaking, but loss to Alabama. It was not a pretty game to watch. And against Arkansas, what did you tell me about Brett Bielema?
He's still searching for that. I've lost track. I think it's 16, but he has not won in the SEC. He has not got an SEC win yet. So he's still in first.
Tough road there to try and win. Although Missouri, they're pretty new. They're in contention for SEC East.
Yeah, I think Arkansas should petition to move.
They can go to the Big 12. Big 12, I'm sure, would take them in a heartbeat, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they used to play in the Southwest Conference, so maybe they could see if Texas and them would take them back. So.
See, there you go. There was one question I had to ask you, Nick. I was thinking about this all day long. I'm like, I've got to ask Nick this question. Got to ask him. But I'm not going to ask you that yet. What? Where are we at with NFL draft talk, Nick?
Well, I think still I think Mariota is pretty much. Most people have him as like number one, but obviously that's the problem. I mean, I think most people have number one, but if the Raiders they're happy with Derek Carr, unless there's a new coach and new. It depends on what their commitment is, or if they don't, maybe Jackson.
It's commitment to excellence, Nick. Come on.
So yeah, then it'll probably be beef up the pass rush, and it'll be Randy Gregory or Leonard Williams from USC or Randy Gregory from Nebraska. I think that's the direction they would go, because pair them with Khalil Mack from last year and see what they got left and. Yeah.
If I had a crying sound effect, that would be it. I would use that right now because that's just heartbreaking for me. Thank goodness for Arizona and Arizona State.
Or maybe, yeah, because I don't, because I mean now that they've already gone with Carr. I mean I would assume that why would you come back and draft
exactly
another quarterback? You have to start putting the pieces. So I think there's plenty to go around. There's a lot of work, but that's what I would say. Most of the boards I look at and stuff like that basically have the two defensive ends as probably the projections.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's what you'd be looking at. But if the Raiders get on a roll and
please, Nick.
go 8-8.
Please, Nick. You're killing me, man. In here, I thought we were friends. I thought we were partners. I thought we were pals, Nick. I said you were the smart one of the two of us. You're walking a fine line there, Nick.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't freeze.
The Denver game was.
Game there, Nick. Don't freeze. All right. So let me get to the one question, and we're going to finish this up here. There was an important question I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Have you started your Christmas shopping yet, Nick?
No, I have not. With
I
I've thought about it, but which is to me is good, but I have not actually executed.
I've been listening to Christmas music, and not 24/7, but
Wow.
I have been on occasion listening to Christmas music, and it's driving my youngest son crazy. And so, as a mom, that's your goal, right? As
Yeah.
a parent, that's your goal to drive your kids crazy sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I heard on the satellite radio when I was listening to the Sirius XM that the holiday channels were coming back. I think either this week or next week. So yeah. So they got to be coming around. Yeah. I mean, it's about that time. We're only like what 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. We're 6 weeks
Exactly.
today. Today's 6 weeks from Christmas.
Oh my goodness. I
So
am I am I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for the shopping and all the hustle and bustle, but I am ready for Thanksgiving, even though I'll have to be at the in-laws' house or one of the in-laws. I am ready for Thanksgiving football too.
yeah, I am too. That's one good.
You know what they should do is they I was thinking about this today. I did not hear the song, but and I know we're not talking football, but we're kind of I'm getting to football in this as we're getting ready to close. They should take that Mariah Carey song that plays nonstop. You know which one I'm talking about. All
Yes,
I Want for Christmas is
yes, I'm
you.
familiar.
Let's
Yep.
change that to All I Want for Christmas is more football.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. Well, that's why, like, if I ran college football, which I obviously
Oh, I
don't,
like this.
I would have a playoff that would run through December. I would have college football would own December, but I don't run it yet. So
We need to work on that.
I know I need to.
We should start a campaign. Start a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, me run college football.
Let Nick run college football. I say let's get rid of the NCAA, which I'm sure that'll come one of these years anyways. We'll have
Yeah,
the Power Fives and whoever else will break away from the NCAA. They'll need a czar, Nick.
and I'm right there.
You could be that czar.
That'd
We
be
could.
awesome.
Oh, I'm liking where this is going.
I know.
But we need more
Uh,
speed in the Big Ten. That's what you need to do. That needs to be your requisite. We need speed.
Yes, we do. Well, there's one school that's trying.
Defense may win championships, but speed excites the
Yeah,
fans.
yeah. Well,
Have a
it's like,
need for
yeah.
speed.
I mean, well, I think I saw somewhere another stat. Is like Ohio State's already under Urban Meyer has already had more 50-point games than I think the entire time Tressel was there. I
Oh my
mean,
goodness.
because I mean, this year I think this year they're averaging like 47, 48 points. I mean, I know part of that's the schedule, but even back in the day, they didn't when they played teams. It was always like a blowout was like 28-10. So, you know,
That's like a halftime score of a Pac-12 game.
yeah. So yeah, well,
As I'm looking, we are going to close. I promise. You know where scoreboards might be exploding this weekend?
where?
Auburn, Georgia.
Yeah,
Todd Gurley back.
yeah.
An
Especially
angry
after
Auburn team. I think that's where the scoreboard explosions are going to happen.
yeah, because you saw what an angry Georgia team did last week to Kentucky.
Yes, and with Mr. Gurley back and an angry Todd Gurley, you won't like him when he's angry. He was a
No.
preseason Heisman candidate, and he's been coming back from his suspension for autograph signing or whatever that case was. Anyways, so that's my scoreboard explosion game of the week. Nick, where are you going to be on Saturday?
I'm going to be here because yes,
Again, 2 weeks in a row.
yeah, because actually I'm basically like a bachelor this weekend, so it's just gonna be a lot of football.
Oh my
So
goodness, you're going to cut loose, aren't you? You're going to
yeah,
just let your hair down and just cut loose and have a wild guys weekend, aren't you?
it's just gonna be me and the dog.
You know how to really cut loose there, Nick.
Although I do have a funny story about our dog, and then I'll ask
Okay,
that.
please tell me.
So
Tell
our
me.
dog,
We love
um,
dogs.
Michigan State has a very good veterinarian school. Okay,
Okay.
so there you go. I'm giving Michigan State its proper due there. And we had put
The
on
sky
our
is not
dog.
falling, so we're okay.
Yeah, we took our dog to the vet, and we had forgotten that we had put his collar on that said Ohio State. So he had his Ohio State collar, and we had forgot. We took him in, and my wife had him in there, and the vet, who was very good natured at least, they're obviously. And he's like, oh, so the dog wants to rub it in too. So
Oh
it's kind
no!
of fun. So it's kind of
Did
funny.
he overcharge you?
No, thankfully not.
Did you double check your
Thankfully,
bill and make sure there weren't any extra charges on there?
no, thankfully they really like our dog, so the dog got away with it. So.
Leave it to the dog to get you out of paying double.
And they don't pick up on the dog's name, which is the dog's name's Griffin, which if you can put together the Ohio State.
Oh yes, two-time.
Yep.
You should call him two-time. Just say his name's not Griffin. His name is two-time.
Yeah. So so it was pretty funny.
All right.
The week after the Michigan Ohio State game, our poor vet gets abused. So
Nice. All right, let everybody know, Nick, where they can connect up with you.
okay, you can come to my website at thesportsavant.com and also at on Twitter at npolinich, and those are the two main places, and those will lead you to anywhere else that I am, and that's it.
And I am Sunny Cadwallader, better known as Cad Chica, C-A-D, Chica. You can find me on Twitter, at that handle on Twitter and Instagram. My website, I need to write a little bit more. You can see my last one about the Eastern Washington game, Cad Chica Sports, and right here on Google Plus Sunny Cadwallader. And just connect with us throughout the week. Let us know what you think of the show and what other segments you might want us to add. And if you have any questions for Nick, like I said, Nick's the smart one of the two of us. But join us next week because it'll be probably our last one of November. And we're going to skip Thanksgiving week, I think. Are you okay with that, Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll probably be best for family.
For both of us, so we can just watch football, right? We'll pretend like we're with family, but we're really watching football, right?
Exactly.
Make them feel good, like we care. Show them that we care by watching football at their house. So there we go.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'll be back next week with another Crossing Route show. And thank you to my partner Nick.
And see you guys. Thank you.
All right. Join us for another Crossing Route show.